Welcome to another episode of Off the Bench Podcast. We are officially live. All right, man. Before we get into this video, y'all already know what to do. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment on this video. Let me know what y'all think on this video. Any comments throughout this whole episode, drop them right here in the comment section. And right before we get into it, make sure y'all head over to the audio platforms as well. Apple Music, Spotify. You can find the audio episodes on those platforms. All you got to do is just search in off the bench show underscore, no spaces when typing that in, off the bench underscore, no spaces when typing that in. You can find me there. Make sure y'all hit a subscribe and make sure y'all go ahead into there. But we're gonna go ahead into the jump into this episode because it was a good game that just came on tonight. Game two of the Western Conference Finals. Man, I love the West playoffs this season. No disrespect to the East, but it ain't nothing like West. The Wild Wild West over there. And with that being said, Dallas take a commanding 2-0 lead. Yeah, I said you heard that correctly. Dallas Mavericks took a commanding 2-0 lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now coming into the series before looking at the matchup, man, I'm thinking, man, the way Minnesota been playing, they just knocked out the defending champs in Game 7 on their home court. You know, they got the momentum ride and all these things like that. And he playing well. He's starting to emerge into his own superstar. We starting to see what he capable of playing at this high level, playing at this stage. But Luka and Kyrie, that's a different breed right there. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. That's a backcourt you don't want to fool with. They giving Minnesota defense some fits over there. Now Minnesota, I thought they defense coming in like I said. I thought J McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, and the crew. I thinking they was gonna be able to slow down Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving to some degree to be able to make it tough on them a little bit hard. It been a complete damn opposite the first two games. Kyrie and Luka Doncic been having Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards, and J McDaniels in absolute hell. I'm talking about having them hell. Drop coverage, blitz coverage. It don't matter what coverage you throw on 11 and Luka Doncic, they've been killing it. Now, they kind of Minnesota, they kind of coming in this game, you know, they tried to change up the defense a little bit, not giving them missed coverage. Sometimes we gonna blitz Luka, sometimes we gonna blitz Kyrie, sometimes we gonna show them drop. But I'm here to say cancel that drop shit. Drop no more. They got to figure something else out. It just, I don't know. I just think this is a bad matchup for Minnesota. These first two games, just watching, and my eyes not gonna lie to me. It just looked like right now, even though the Minnesota Timberwolves, they was up at 20 points in this game. So at some point throughout this game, to me, it just never felt like they was in total control. The Dallas Mavericks, they just getting shot after shot. You know, the shots that they want offensively. They not. I'm not. They not forcing shots offensively. They not getting the look that They not generating bad looks. You know, they getting the shots that they want. It just they not knocking them down right now. Uh, but you got to give Dallas credit. They came out there. They stayed the course. And they walked them down. You know, they didn't let a 20-point lead, a 15-point lead, a 12-point lead deter them or let it, they kind of stayed the course of the game. Even, they were wanting getting the top of production from Kyrie or, Luka kind of kept them afloat throughout the first half. Really throughout this whole game until like the kind of the fourth quarter, a little the kind of the last couple minutes of the third. But man, hey, Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, I'm gonna need y'all to play better. I'm gonna need y'all to play better. What y'all the production that y'all giving me, that ain't gonna get it done. You want to make it to the finals. Now, I'm finna look up here. Now, Karl Anthony Towns, he finished the game with 15 and 7. He was 4 16, 25% from the field. 1 for 5 from 3. Anthony Edwards to 25, 5 and 7, 5 for 17, 29% from the field. That just not gonna get it done. They're just not gonna get it done. And you know, coming into game 3, they gotta step it up. Cause like I said, man, uh, cause like I said, man, like I said, man, coming into game three, we're gonna need the Minnesota Timberwolves to play a lot better. We're gonna need the Minnesota Timberwolves stars to play a lot better if they want to have a chance of come getting they digging themselves out of this 0-2 series lead that the Dallas Mavericks had took on them. I mean, what a 2-0 lead that the Dallas Mavericks took on them. Excuse me. You're gonna need them to play better. Now, Anthony Edwards, these first two games, it just look like he just indecisive. He don't know when he need to attack the basket, when he need to, he just looking unsure right now. Caught but you got to give Dallas Mavericks the Dallas Mavericks defense credit too as well. They playing at the nail, they playing at the boxes. They showing Anthony Edwards bodies. Got to give a lot of credit to Derrick Jones Jr. They got a lot of length and size out there where they can throw at Anthony Edwards. They switching you know Daniel Jones Jr., athletic, long, statue. Then you swapping them out for to into PJ Washington, who's got a 6'8", 6'9" frame, kind of more physical. Youth, got some young legs. So they got guys that can throw at Anthony Edwards that kind of slow him down. But I'm I'm gonna be honest. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they in danger zone, right? They in danger zone. Danger. The Minnesota Timberwolves are in danger zone right now. And I'm saying that because throughout this whole, like I said, throughout game two, they lost game one on their home floor. And in that game, it never seemed like, even though they had like an 8-point lead, 9-point lead, they was kind of leading the game throughout until like the second half. Kind of pretty much of the story of this game. It's just that the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's never like they have full control over over these games. You don't really feel like, okay, Minnesota, they can go ahead. Now, if you look at Minnesota throughout these playoffs, especially in the game ones, game twos, Minnesota Timberwolves, you kind of can tell that how the series gonna go, the way they played and how they came out. They like to set a tone. I haven't seen that from the Minnesota Timberwolves in these first two games. Granted, yes, it only has been two games, but these are two games on your home floor. In the previous two rounds, they came out and made a statement in both game ones against the Denver Nuggets. They did that in the last series. In game one against the Phoenix Suns in round one, they set the tone, kind of dictated how the series is gonna be played a little bit. And I think that was kind of opposite in this series in the first two games. I think the Mavs kind of dictated, and in game one, it kind of showed them how this series is gonna be played. They don't have an answer for Kyrie and Luka Doncic in the pick and roll. Rudy Gobert is begging for his life. Jaden McDaniels is begging for his life. Anthony Edwards, he said it. He didn't say it, but he said it his damn self. He begging for his life. He tired. He exhausted. Trying to chase around Kyrie. Then you asking him to give you 25 to 30 points on the offensive end. Also trying to facilitate with throwing all these different bodies at him. You know, the Mavericks, they just wearing them down, wearing them down, wearing them down, wearing them down. Now, another thing, like I said in game one, you get anomaly shooting, 3-point shooting from Jay McDaniels. You get let me make sure I'm not tripping. In game one, you get 24 points from Jay McDaniels. He was 6 from 9 from 3. You get 16 from Cat, 19 from Ant, 15 from Nas, 11 from Cal Anderson, who was 5 from 8 from the field. Uh, and you did all that and lost. And you come back in game two and follow that up with Nas Reed. He gave you 23 off the bench, 7 from 9 3-point shooting. You get 15 from Town, 16 from Rudy Gobert, 21 from Ant. You get 18 from Conley. That's what I'm saying. You're supposed to win this game. Those are games you are supposed to win. You getting that level of production. And if it weren't for Nas Reed, this game would have been a blowout. Nas Reed single-handedly kept the Minnesota Timberwolves alive with his 3-point shooting and his shot making. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they made 12 3-pointers this game. Shot 31. So did the Dallas Mavericks. So they even them out, or what I'm saying, they kind of wash out a little bit. They both shot the same thing. But that's what it comes down to. Ultimately, because I'm looking at you getting this level of production from your role guys. You getting 23 from Nas Reed in game. You getting a damn near perfect game from Nas Reed game two. You get a perfect, damn near perfect game from Jay McDaniels in game one. Now, obviously, your star players not giving you that type of star level production that you wanted, but your role guys is stepping up and basically keeping you in the game. Now, you look at the Dallas Mavericks and the level of production that they getting outside of Luka, Kyrie, and this game. Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, they feasted because they drawn between the two. They can't guard Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, and it's drop coverage that they trying to do. You got Rudy Gobert is stuck in between the middle between. I don't know if I should help, if I should stay home or do this, and it's killing them right now. It's killing them. They got to go back to the drawing board. It's time for the Minnesota Timberwolves to go back to the drawing board because they is playing with fire and they entering the danger zone right now. Cause they heading down to Dallas for a game 3 on the road, where usually role players play better at home. I'm not expecting PJ Washington to keep shooting this poorly. I'm not expecting Derrick Jones Jr. to keep shooting this poorly. I'm not expecting, these other role players for the Dallas Mavericks to shoot this poorly going back home. Because role players do play better at home. Uh, they gonna get and the thing is, it's not like they are forcing looks or forcing shots. I think the Luka and Kyrie, they're generating the type of open looks where if they keep getting them, hey, it's sooner or later they're gonna start going in and start falling. And I feel like everything that the Mavericks are getting, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it's close to it. And everything that the Minnesota Timberwolves are getting on the offense side of the ball, they're really having to work for it. They really having to earn it. Like I said, you getting anomalies from Jay McDaniels in game one, where that's where you having to survive it. Obviously, it's a team game. That's what you build a team for. Cause when your star players are not cooking, you have your team where you can be able to lift them up and still stay afloat. And that's what Jay McDaniels did in game one. Ultimately, they still lost that game. In game two, Nas Reed did the best he could, giving you 23, made 7 3-pointers in this game, but ultimately it wasn't enough to get it done. Um, I just don't know where can Minnesota go from here. Because if you look at, obviously, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, they play better. you know, do that take away from the role players production? Obviously, you get 18 points from Mike Conley. Like I said, the 23 from Naj Reed. You get the double double 19 and 10 from Rudy Gobert. You know, if they're gonna take away from those guys' production, because obviously if your star players are going, they're going to take more shots. They're going to look to be more aggressive than passive, and it's going to be less opportunity. So it just going to be I'm interested to see the game plan coming into to game 3 for the Minnesota Timberwolves, because everything that they threw out there right now in these first 2 games have not been working. Chris Finch, you need to go back to the drawing board. The assistant coach who taking over for him need to go back to the drawing board and watch film. Now, um, cause like I said, they drop coverage. Rudy Gobert, he begging. Anthony Edwards, he begging. Jay McDaniels. Now they didn't say Jay McDaniels. He was the strap god king. Luka been making that boy. He been making food out of him. Making real life food. I'm talking about dog food. Kyrie Irving as well. Got Anthony Edwards out there looking like Reggie Jackson. Reggie Miller didn't call Anthony Edwards and declare Anthony Edwards the best 2-way in the league. Kyrie Irving been making ends meet with him. Ends meet. Now, I don't know how this series gonna turn out, because I know how this can flip easily. But after these first 2 games and what I see, I'm not gonna say that this series is over, because I was quick to say that last series and the Denver Nuggets won 3 straight. Ultimately, they still lost. But look, I just don't expect PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr. to continue to miss these wide open looks that they steady missing in these first 2 games once they go back home. You know, I got Minnesota probably winning 1 game on the road, but it's a tall task right now. Kyrie, he picking his spots this game. He took his time. A lot of people be wanting to see Kyrie be aggressive, how he was in game 1 from start to finish. But, different games call for different things. And obviously this game I just feel like He took his time. He eased his way into this game. Luka, he kept him afloat, and he didn't want to mess up Luka rhythm, which is you seeing the growth of Kyrie as being a teammate. Then once it was time to cook, and once the game was close during the fourth quarter, that's when Kyrie Irving took over. I think Kyrie had 12 points in the fourth quarter. They ultimately rallied his team into taking a 2-0 lead. Uh, I don't know. That's Luka and Kyrie. Them boys a problem right now. They a problem. Them boys cooking, steaming. Took the first two games on the road, and the way they did it too is this the level of shot making. Now, if y'all know, if y'all didn't kept up with this podcast, y'all know. To me, that is the greatest skill that God can possess you with, is to be able to score the ball at the highest level. And that's what Kyrie and Luka are doing. They showing they this playing shot making at the highest level. And what they doing right now with the type of shot making, they demoralizing this Minnesota defense slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, because Jay McDaniels, everybody will praise him the first two series, how awesome he was doing on Jamal Murray, on Devin Booker, on Bradley Beal. Luka, these first two games, he cooking them. Same thing for Ant. Kyrie cooking them. Daniel Gafford, shout out to Daniel Gafford, shout out to Derek Lively, the big man for the Dallas Mavericks. They giving Rudy Gobert all type of fits. They giving him all the problems that he didn't want. Now, Rudy Gobert sometimes in these first two rounds for the Minnesota Timberwolves, it was certain games on the floor that Rudy Gobert was the best player for the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's how impactful he was defensively for his ball club. These first two games been the complete opposite. He been I ain't gonna say he been the worst player, because Karl Anthony Towns, I think he took that war by storm, but Rudy Gobert been getting exposed defensively. Drop coverage, but now I'm not just gonna say ultimately that's all on him, because his coach got to put him in better situations. Now, especially that last where Luka hit that dagger over. Why is you switching Rudy Gobert into Luka? Luka already steaming and cooking and rolling. If anything, I'm finna double him to get the ball out his hand, make somebody else beat me. I just don't understand switching our better perimeter defender to a worse perimeter defender in Rudy Gobert, and asking him to guard the premier player in Luka Doncic that he is. I just don't that didn't make sense to me. But hey, the coaches better find something and figure something out. See what was working defensively. You got to take little sample size and little things that you did in these first two games that worked in spurts, and try to rally that up into a totality of a game. Because giving them a heavy dosage of a drop coverage, yeah, you asking to go home early. That's all you doing. You steady playing drop coverage. I'm really not after what I seen today. I'm not a fan of blitzing and trapping the ball screen with Luka Doncic. Too good of a passer. Too good of a passer. He was dissecting you, making the right reads left and right. I'm talking about Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively was getting the most gift wrap buckets. Daniel Gafford had 6 dunks tonight. 6 dunks. That's all off because they had to double Luka, and Luka was killing them with the pass. Luka had 13 assists. Derek Lively, he had 14 off the bench. Daniel Gafford had 16 off the bench. 16. What you get? What's that? You got 32 points from your big man rotation. And that's all a spoon fed buckets from Luka Doncic. You gotta find something quick in a hurry. Now, I don't know where they go from here. In terms of the Minnesota Timberwolves, I don't know. Obviously you need to get, like I said, you got to find ways to ant the ball in better situations. You can't have them bring the ball up with all the odd defenders already set, everybody at the box and elbows, and basically Dallas Mavericks, they doing them but making Ant a jump shooter. Not saying that Ant is not a good jump shooter. It just Ant game is predicated on him getting downhill, which Dallas Mavericks had completely taken that away from him. Obviously he got downhill, he got to the rack a little bit more this game, but everything just seemed hard for offensively for the Dallas. I mean, for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But you got to give a lot of credit to Dallas. They defending. They playing on the string. They trusting one another, and they trusting in what Jason Kidd telling them. They executing the game plan at a high level, and they understand who they are offensively. Luka, for the most part, he gonna do what he do. And once it's not Luka time, it's Kyrie time. And I think they playing well. They playing well off playing out those two guys. Kyrie, like I said, he making the right reads, even though people would like him to be aggressive all the time throughout the whole game. But I like the way Kyrie played this game. He turned it on when he needed to, when the team absolutely needed him to make plays, make shots. He made big shots down the stretch. And will rally his team to taking it 2-0 lead. Now they heading back to Dallas. And what I think, PJ, like I said, PJ Washington, he been scared the first two games. But you could tell by the time every time he shoot them wide open threes, his knees kind of get the shaking and bucking a little bit. PJ, he was getting torched by Cat early. He airballed two shots today, three shots today. He just was nervous, but I expect the nerves to come back down to earth. Once they head back home for Game 3, Derrick Jones Jr. I expect him to shoot the ball a lot better from the 3-point line. Heading back to Dallas, role players play better on the road. So Minnesota, Dallas Mavericks. It was a good game. This was a good game though. Good game though. But I just know Minnesota better get it together because if Minnesota was just the clear cut better team, and this kind of why I'm leaning towards Dallas now. 'Cause like I said, the first two rounds of Minnesota in game one for the against the Phoenix Suns, they sent the message and kind of in game one they kind of showed you how the series gonna go with type of the way they played. They beat them by 20 plus. They did the same thing. They did the same thing to the Denver Nuggets in round two. The first two games, they beat them and they beat them bad, and they kind of showed them how this series was gonna go. Now they had an opportunity to do that today to kind of bounce back from the game one loss that they just had on their home floor. They was up 20. Golden opportunity to go ahead, put your foot on put your foot on the throats. Go ahead, get out of here with a win, tie the series up, and see if you can still win in Dallas. This one was heartbreaking right here. You down 2-0 now. This is a young ball club as well in Minnesota, so they never been in this situation, especially in this deep in the playoffs. They never been in this situation, never find this hole. But we finna see what they made out of. Now I'm not gonna say that Minnesota's gonna lay down by any means, but we gonna see what they made out of. Uh, y'all let me know in the comment section who y'all got in game three. Game three will be played in Dallas. That will be played. What's today? Friday, Sunday will be game three. So y'all let me know who y'all got in the comment section. Uh, Trying to think of. Also, we got game three of the Eastern Conference Finals. Dallas versus not Dallas. Indiana Pacers versus Boston Celtics. They got their game three tomorrow. Pacers they down 0-2. Looking can they get a win on their home floor after the I don't know what type of performance they was in game two. They was down 13 in the fourth quarter. None of the starters played. I just don't understand that. You in the Eastern Conference Finals and none of your starters didn't play none the fourth quarter. I don't understand it. I just don't know what's going on. But that series, like I said, that series before coming in, I knew was gonna be quick and easy. If Boston, who they say they is, they is clearly the better team. I expecting them to go ahead and get them out the way, but I do expect Indiana Pacers to come, win. I expect them to win game three. Uh, they got pride. They got ball players over there, and they got a deep unit. Uh, where any given night it can be somebody else who can be able to be the star player for the Indiana Pacers. But they need Tyrese Halliburton to be the best player. If they're gonna have any chance in this series to at least win, push it to a game six or a game seven, you need Tyrese Halliburton to be the franchise player. And it all start with him. Pacers go as he go. When he out there being scared and shell shocked and doing all that, that's when the Pacers be looking they be looking disgruntled and I don't know, all sorts of out of whack. So it starts with him. But game three tomorrow between them, uh, I got Indiana bouncing back. I definitely got Indiana bouncing back because game one they let one slip away, which would have changed the dynamic of this series. But that's how it go. One play can change the dynamic, can alter a series, can alter a game, and ultimately that's what happened. Instead of you going heading to Indy 1-1, you down 2-0. So, you know, so I think this gonna conclude this episode, man. Like I said, it was a good day of hoops. Good bump was played out there. The rest was letting them play, letting them be physical. Uh, Minnesota that came out and threw the first punch, but Dallas Mavericks they responded. This was just a good game. Luka, he showed you why he's the bad boy. Luka a bad boy. Hey, that boy, he 25, he move like he 35. Move at his own pace, get his own buckets. Luka, that boy, he nice. He nice. Right along with Kyrie. But game three, Western Conference Finals, Sunday, heading back to Dallas, Minnesota. Y'all better lock in. Pay attention to what's going on. Anthony Edwards, we need you to wake up. Need you to wake up. We've been praising you. Now that's our time to tell you. This will come with it. A lot of this media people, I didn't seen it. They build you up so quickly just to tear you down. Just to tear you down. So I just hope Anthony Edwards he can get it together. Hopefully he can find his rhythm in this series and make this just a competitive series. Competitive because how it's going right now, this might be over in 5. But man, I'll catch y'all next time, man. Make sure y'all leave a like, comment, subscribe. Make sure y'all head over to them audio platforms as well, Apple Music, Spotify. All you got to do is type in off the bench show _ no spaces. You can find me on there. If you're not on YouTube, make sure if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, man. And we out.